Hey everyone. So I guess you can say my obsession with rose started off early in my childhood, just growing up in my parents' house. My dad was obsessed with roses and his rose garden and his rose bushes and watering them and growing them and building things to support them for them to grow structurally. He was always talking about his roses and taking care of them and urging us to do the same for his rose garden. So when I got into perfumes and my obsession started, it naturally came to me to get into rose perfumes. And in the last several years, oud has become fairly mainstream and popular in the perfume industry. And here I have for you today two very popular rose oud perfumes um, from Kilian or by Kilian, Rose Oud, and from Giorgio Armani, the Privé collection, Rose d'Arabie. And I'll just kind of be looking at them and comparing the two side by side. And in the end of this video, I'll tell you guys which I actually prefer, because I do prefer one much more over the other, although they're both very stunning and beautiful rose perfumes. Um, Lots of perfumes are classified as rose, and you don't really get much rose from them, but I get an extreme a fair amount or a lot of rose from both of these perfumes. Both released in 2010. Notes on this one: Turkish rose, oud, saffron, and cardamom. Giorgio Armani, we have damask rose, patchouli, vanilla, and woods. So rose oud on me opens up very rosy, very rich and luxurious, and it smells like $1,000,000 and costs that much too. Um, it feels like I'm sticking my nose right in the center of a rose. Very jammy, very spicy, very fresh, very luxurious, oriental, sweet. Has notes of. I don't get much oud from this, surprisingly, but there is lots of dry woods, and I believe that's coming from the listed note of Gaiac. Even though I didn't mention Gaiac, I do notice Gaiac's listed in a lot of pyramids. Very woody. The wood is somewhat dry, so it contrasts the wet, sweet rose, which is just amazing. There's a leather note in here, which I pick up a lot of, and I've never smelt snake, a live snake, but this leather note reminds me of a living black and red python snake. That's the sense I get from this leather note. Just a magnificent note of leather. Also some spices, saffron, cardamom adds a little bit of sweetness, and it does give it that Arabian or Middle Eastern feel, which is what they were going with. This is from the Arabian Nights collection. So yeah, just a stunning, full-bodied rose, develops amazing on your skin. Somewhat earthy, a little bit that rose, although it's not green. Yeah, so it's just something to die for. I love wearing this. Even though I just recently started wearing it, I've got my bottle earlier this year, but not until I started doing the comparison for this and testing these, I actually appreciated what this was. If you've seen my haul video earlier this year, I kind of said that this was reformulated and it's not as good as the vintage. I gotta eat my words. This is almost as good, except for the performance. Although the performance of this is amazing, I'll touch on that in a bit. Rose d'Arabie, somewhat similar, but yet different enough, worth owning both. Rose d'Arabie opens up more woody and more oudy. Also a luxurious, rich rose. Opens up very fresh, the rose note. Just like rose petals. Nothing green, nothing earthy here. Although there is a note of patchouli in here, it's not a dominant note. Also, there's some spices in here, and it is a tad spicy. Not as spicy as the Kilian, but enough to notice, and it's saffron spice. Some sweetness, you're going to get some sweetness from the vanilla. It's going to give you a candied rose sweetness, but in an adult way, not childish at all. Just a beautiful, sweet rose, very stunning. And it's going to dry down to a little bit of musk and a little bit of powder, and rose is going to last you throughout. Over here, I'm going to get rose for about the first 3 to 4 hours before it gets really woody and oriental. So 2 stunning, amazing rose perfumes to die for. Now the performance of these is quite different. Rose Oud is going to open up a little bit louder, and it's going to project a little bit more. And I know that because I wore them both side by side at the same time, 3 sprays each. And it's going to project louder for about the first hour. The projection is astronomical. On both of these, the performance is absolutely amazing. But for the first hour, it's going to project a little bit better. After that, it's going to get closer to the skin, and it's going to become quite transparent and to dry down. You're not going to be able to smell it yourself, but others around you will. And I know that because I've been complimented 10 hours after I've applied it. Rose d'Arabie, again, is going to open up. Projection is very loud. Not as loud as this, but when it starts to dry down, it's going to leave you in the scent cloud. Just, around you like this. It's not going to project very far, but you're going to smell yourself with every breath you take for up to 10 hours. And it's just absolutely stunning, both of them. The packaging on these, I'm going to start here because he deserves it. Okay, the bottle is beautiful. The typical Kilian bottle cap holds the bottle. I love that about the bottles where the cap doesn't just slide off, and I can actually pick up my bottle from the cap. But if I hold it like this and shake it for a bit, it probably will slide off after a minute or so, but I'm okay with that. You got some really nice detail on the side of these bottles. I don't know what that means, but it's just some kind of hard leathery plastic or something, it feels like. And so you have the case here, this coffer, really nice. Got some detail on the side there. Just some stunning box. This is not wood at all. This is some kind of hard plastic. This fits nicely in there like this. Beautiful, beautiful case. Okay. You got a key to lock this. I never lock it. I don't keep it in the box at all. Boxes just, I don't know. But I do keep all my boxes. Beautiful, beautiful presentation. Presentation on here, we have gold cap, plastic, not much weight to this at all. It bounces off the table. Gold atomizer. Bottle, beautiful bottle. Absolutely love, love, love this bottle. It's got like some black coated enamel on here, or is it paint? I don't know. It's pretty dark throughout. You can't see through there. Got a little gold sticker here. That's fine. Love the bottle. Where they chinsed out on is this box. It's just some kind of cheap paper. Very flimsy. I don't want to use the crap word, but I guess I just did. But I like the fact that they added this nice little detail in here. Not that I would ever use this, but, just something to clean your bottle with. Okay, so that's presentation. Which do I prefer? Obviously, I prefer the case or the box for the Kilian. But when it comes to the bottle, I'm a sucker for these Privé collection bottles. I don't know. I just really like them. They're so different than everything else out there. This cap, this like gold nugget or whatever it's supposed to be, I do like it, although it's just cheap plastic. That's your presentation, really. It is what it is. Versatility of these fragrances. I gotta say, the construction on the Kilian is so much better, far and away, than the Armani, that they're both very formal fragrances. When you want to smell your absolute best, I would reach for either one of these. This is a little bit more formal, just because it is somewhat more complex. They use It seems like they're using better materials in this. It's blended better. It's smoother. It is more luxurious. And that all shows in the price. And all that adds up to is it just being a more formal fragrance than the already formal Rose d'Arabie. Also, suit and tie, parties, dinners, when you want to smell your best, Saturday nights, Sunday afternoons. Not really everyday fragrances, but the only place I really wear them to is work. To me, it doesn't make a difference. So I said this is constructed better. It is not that this is poorly constructed or the use of poor materials, but when you compare them side by side, it is quite obvious that this is miles ahead of the Armani. It is somewhat a little bit more linear. Actually, it is a lot more linear from opening to close. I thought the Armani was linear until I started comparing them side by side. I noticed just how much this actually changes on skin. It smells completely different from opening to close, meaning by the time it's done, dried off or showered or whatever, however you get rid of it. Yeah, that's the versatility. Now the price wise, again, miles apart, and it shows in the construction of these fragrances. This here, 50 ml, $395 US. Although I didn't pay that, I would never. It works out to almost $8 a mil, which is insane. The Armani, $290 US, works out to almost $3 US per mil. So not quite, but almost triple the price when you're looking at dollars versus mil. So just an astronomical difference. Final thoughts. Two amazing fragrances. I would reach for either one of these in a setting where I absolutely have to smell my best. But in my world where I use these for day to day, I would much prefer this. Not looking at dollar wise, but how often I reach for it. I would choose this over the Kilian in a heartbeat if I can only have one of these fragrances. I reach for it so much more often. And if I had to estimate, I would say 10 to 1. Every 10 times I reach for this, I only wear this about once. Why? I have no answer for that. It's just, I love this fragrance so much more. This, I like. This, I absolutely adore. The way it develops on my skin, the way it smells. I get compliments. I feel good. And while I'm wearing this, I constantly think to myself, I could have this for a signature scent. If it's the last fragrance I ever have, I would like for this could be one of those fragrances. I know it gets crapped on a lot in the fragrance community. I've heard people say it's boring. It doesn't motivate them. I know, because I was one of those people when I kind of was introduced to Rose d'Arabie. I didn't really think much about it. Just some sweet rose with a little bit of patchouli and vanilla. Kind of boring, but I started wearing it more and more and more. And now it's become one of my absolute fragrances and probably in my top 10 fragrances, but not my favorite rose oud fragrance. There is one other that I prefer, but this is just so much more wearable. Yeah, so I would choose this in a heartbeat over the Kilian, even though it's a beautiful fragrance. That's been my comparison between Rose Oud and Rose d'Arabie. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts. Have you tried either? Do you love either? What do you think? What do you get for comparison? What are your favorite Rose Ouds? Love to see your feedback. And that's it for now. We'll see you soon. Bye.